So I want to jump right into this because this is actually going to be very life-changing information, you guys. Because if you're someone who's struggling or you kind of burn out with all the techniques, this is a new way to look at manifestation of conscious creation, right? And so this is going to help people who are struggling to really know that it is done. Because we often, we're desiring a particular experience in our reality, and we're saying, oh, it's done, it's done, it's done, but we proceed to check 3D, we proceed to check if anything's really working, right? And so this will remind you and kind of explain how it is done, even if you can't see it, right? And so I want you guys to take a look at this little dude right here. This is actually you, right? And the way we've been taught manifestation is almost like if our mind is a projector screen, right? So our mind is really the thing that's projecting onto the screen of space. But what I think is important for you to really shift your perspective in is shift your perspective when it comes to who you truly are, right? So yes, your mind does project. Yes, your thoughts do create. Yes, your belief and assumptions do harden into fact, right? But you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts, right? You are actually the awareness experiencing your thoughts. You're experiencing the character that you are. So this character, Justin, that I'm playing, who I truly am fundamentally is awareness, right? And so I'm not this little dude, this little guy, Justin, right? I am God awareness having the experience of being Justin, expressing itself through this character, through this lens called Justin, right? And so when we think we're this separate 3D being, this human in this meat suit, right? And that we are the one creating everything, that's where we can get kind of tripped up in a lot of ways, because we have to understand that I am is doing everything, right? There really is no separation between 3D reality and the character manifesting. There is no separation between the character and I am awareness. There's just the experience that there is separation, so that we can experience ourselves more fully, right? So our mind is like a 3D printer, right? So our thoughts and our assumptions are projecting out into 3D. And 3D is an extension of awareness. I mean, everything is consciousness. Everything is made up of the all, right? But when we start to look at awareness, manifesting with awareness versus manifesting through the character's perspective, that's when we can kind of take back a lot of our power, because I am is the thing animating the character at all times, right? So it's literally this thing, the source that is moving my body, that's conveying all this information to you, from me to you. It's the video that you're watching. It's the room that you're in. I am is the thing that I am is the thing that's really moving all the pieces around in your reality, right? So I am is animating the character at all times. And this is what Neville says, and this is what the Bible says, that I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. Your Father is actually your I am awareness, right? So this is your I am awareness. So when we say I, right, I is actually meaning the character that you're playing, Justin, whatever your name is. So the character and awareness are one, but your awareness is greater than the character. So this is why, as the character, we think we need to do all these techniques. We think we need to listen to subliminals, which I'm not knocking, because obviously on my channel I make subliminals, I make self-hypnosis, all this stuff. But I try to use it as a tool rather than it being the thing that is manifesting for me, because at the end of the day, there's nothing that's manifesting except for I am, right? So the character and awareness are one, but awareness is greater than the character. That's how you can view it, right? And so when we say, where is it, right? Okay, I've been doing all these things, but where is it? You have to ask yourself, what awareness are you in when you say, where is it? because awareness just is. Awareness doesn't doubt, it doesn't beg, it doesn't try to force, it doesn't try to convince itself of anything. That's the character doing all of that, right? And so if you think of yourself, the imaginative you, as the living, moving occupant of God's house, then this will start to unlock so much more understanding, so much more power within you, because you can claim your power back as I am rather than just the character, right? And so when you say, where is it? We automatically shift from the perspective of grand awareness, of I am awareness, right? Of divine consciousness back into the character. And it is the continued occupancy of awareness. It's your spiritual sensation that becomes the shadow of the perceived 3D world, right? So when we say, I look out into reality, I'm claiming that I have it, but I look out into reality and I don't have it, what we are doing is we're using our 5 senses to justify whether our desire is here or not, right? We're using our eyesight, we're using our touch, we're using, whether we can hear our SP say that they love us, or, that they commit to being with us, right? And so we're using our reactive senses rather than awareness, rather than our spiritual sensations. And that's what becomes the shadow of the 3D world, right? So our 5 spiritual senses are inner hearing, their inner seeing, which is visualization or imagination. It's inner speech. Some people call this inner conversations. It's the same thing. It's also intuition, right? So just that feeling of, I know this is going to happen, or I should do this, I should do that. It's those little nudges that you get, right? And then inner feeling, which is acceptance. It's acceptance of the end. So these are the 5 faculties, or the spiritual senses, that makes up awareness, right? That we've been almost gifted with from I am consciousness, from God, right? So when we are waiting for external results, we are not only in awareness of waiting, which will just prolong our manifestations, which will just keep perpetuating the state of waiting for the money to show up, or waiting for the SP, or whatever it is. We are not waiting for external results in awareness. I am is not waiting, because I am is everything, right? It transcends time and space. So I am is not waiting for external results. All of that is the doing of the character. What I am is doing is it's choosing to live from the reality of having it through our spiritual senses, right? Through seeing it, through hearing it, through knowing it, through feeling it, through accepting it, right? And that's why Neville said, by nature, reason is restricted to the evidence of the senses, which means your character is only restricted to what it can understand, to the logic behind things, to what makes sense to the human perspective. But imagination, but I am awareness, has no limitations, right? It transcends space and time in a way that our human minds can't even wrap our head around. So don't even try to try to perceive it and try to understand it and try to comprehend it, because you only get so far, right? But I am awareness transcends all that. It is everything all at once, right? All possibilities don't just exist, but they are occurring all at the same time. So your 5 senses are actually reactive, right? And that's what I'm going to put here. They are reactive. You can also say they're perceptual, right? Because what your physical senses are doing is they're perceiving the 3D world. They're perceiving old news, basically, the dead world. And what I am awareness is perceiving is actually the true reality, right? Imagination is the true reality. And I know this is something I definitely struggled with, right? And I would say this and I would understand it to a point, but I really wasn't applying it, right? When I would go lay in my bed to do sats at the end of the day, I was almost visualizing from a place of out there, right? Of a place of, oh yeah, that's a possibility because I can imagine it, but it's not necessarily happening because I can't see it, I can't perceive it, I don't have it in my hand, right? But that's thinking as the character, right? That's thinking from the ego, from the mind. I'm still trying to understand through the lens of the character rather than dropping the need to understand and just accepting that I am awareness is the true reality, right? Imagination, knowing the acceptance of the end is the true reality, and the 3D world is just a shadow of that, right? So if I'm looking to the shadow, and if I'm looking to the world of form to give me things, that's where I'm not gonna find my fulfillment there, right? I can only find my fulfillment in I am, right? So you must identify as awareness rather than the character, the mind, or the ego, right? And I'm not saying disregard the character completely because obviously it's a human experience. It's a 3D experience. So the character and awareness is one, but you have to understand fundamentally the character is not who you are, right? You are not just this body. You are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness experiencing that. You are the awareness experiencing that in all ways, right? So awareness, or the inner man, only observes, right? It doesn't beg, it doesn't plead, it doesn't worry, it doesn't fear. It is the awareness behind it all. So when you don't see it, this is what I want you to do. When you don't see it with your physical senses, what you're going to do is re-identify as I am, or awareness, rather than the outer man or character, right? And so this is where we get trapped because we've been so conditioned to believe that our imagination is fantasy, that we're just daydreaming, that, somehow what we can perceive with our physical senses is more real than our imagination. So it's just that habitual way of living, of being, of thinking, right? That we have to shift out of, right? We have to shift from thinking as the outer man to understanding our true nature as the inner man. So this is what I've been doing. When I notice myself in lack, when I notice myself saying, "Oh, great, now I got to put my subliminal on because I just spiraled," right? What I do is I just observe. I don't try to fix. I don't try to cling. I don't try to hold on for dear life. I don't tighten the grip to my desire. I don't keep affirming a million times. Because it's not what you say, right? It's the state of being that manifests. What I do is I say, oh, look, the character's doubting. But as I am, as awareness, right? I rest in the knowing that I am everything. Therefore, it's done. And that's literally all you have to do, you guys, to manifest. So, look, the character's doubting. It's cool. We're just going to let it pass. We're not going to try to figure out what the limiting belief is. We're not going to try to panic and affirm a million times, right? And do techniques and do this and do that. Because what that implies is more separation. It's more unfulfillment in fulfillment. Because in I am, everything is fulfilled. Everything is whole. Everything is complete. But you can have the experience of being separate from your desire. You can have the experience of being separate from the money or the relationship, right? So when you doubt, when you fear, just notice. Just observe. That's all I want you guys to do. So the character is doubting, but as awareness, you guys. As awareness. I rest in the knowing that I am everything. Therefore, it is done. And it's not done because I see it in my 3D. It's done because not only do I claim it's done, but because I can go within and tap into my spiritual senses and experience it there. And we're not waiting for anything to happen because it's instant. That's what they say, manifestation is instant. It's instant because of your spiritual faculties. The five spiritual senses, right? The five senses, not the physical ones, the spiritual ones, the visualization, the inner conversations, right? At any moment, you can transport your consciousness to having your desire, to experiencing the love, to experiencing the health, right? That's why they say manifestation is instant. Now, have I experienced, it trickle down to the 3D in a matter of minutes, sometimes seconds? Yes, I have. But that's because I accepted my inner state first. Unconsciously or consciously, I accepted the end, not in physical reality, but in my spiritual senses. Right? So I just want to recap. It's the continued occupancy and awareness, right? So it's not necessarily that we have to keep visualizing and keep doing it over and over and over and drill it into our head. No, it's the continued returning, right? So if you doubt, if you spiral, it's okay. Like I said, just return to awareness. Rest in awareness that it's already done, because your true nature is fulfillment, right? The 3D world is the dead world. It's the shadow world. And so when you ask yourself, where is it? You're going to think of yourself, the imaginative you, eternal awareness, as the living, moving occupant of God's house. And so I really hope that helped you guys today, because I had this shift a couple days ago and it's brought me such peace. It's brought me so much clarity that I didn't have before. And even though I knew these concepts and I would coach people and all this and that, it's really this foundation that you can't be separate from anything or anyone, because consciousness is everything and your awareness is consciousness, right? But it dissolves the waiting, it dissolves the worry, the anxiety, because you can always rest in awareness. You can always return to your decision in awareness, in consciousness, right? And so all I'm asking you guys to do is just remember who you are. Remember that even your body is part of the game. It's part of the illusion, right? And so there's nothing you need to do. There's no blocks you need to do. There's no, self-concept work. And I'm not saying don't work on your self-concept, because working on my self-concept really did change things for me. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're returning to awareness that this is who I am now, right? I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. So remember, I am is animating everything around you. It's the thing that's keeping your heart beating, right? That's digesting all your food, that's moving your body. You can truly never be separate from I am. It's just this experience of it, right? And in that experience, we find more connection to who we truly are. And so, again, last thing I'm going to say is the reason you don't see it is because you are perceiving the world with your five senses rather than your spiritual senses, rather than spiritual sensation, right? So again, don't beg, don't plead, don't worry, don't try to negotiate with 3D, right? Just say, oh look, I'm worrying, I'm spiraling, I'm doubting, I'm wondering when it's going to be here. That's cool. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to rest in the knowing that I am everything. Therefore, it's done. If you guys do want to work with me in any way, all that's in the description. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.